Well, gotta say, ain't expect there to be results in that there Flim Flam business so damn fast.
Well, actually, it makes sense it didn't take so long. When that stuff all happens off-screen, you can literally make it happen from one episode to another. Which is exactly what happened.
I kind of feel it's a little lame, don't you? All that hyping the Flim Flams up as the big new threat to Equestria's free market, and now they're just done for.
What do you expect, girls? Some big confrontation like they're important villains? Nah, they were honestly more like a narrative device to get some things moving.
By some things, I do hope you're not referring to my financial assets, because I could have very much done without that. At least now everything that was mine is back where it rightfully belongs.
I still think that was a pretty cruel thing to do, just framing the Flim Flams for employing child labor by force and keeping slaves.
Sure, it wasn't particularly nice, but neither was them taking over half the businesses in Equestria. That's just what happens when you stand in the way of peace. You get moved aside.
Besides, there's at least one silver lining to this whole thing. Sure, all in all, it was just another scheme for Twilight to gain some more approval from the ponies, but in the course of that, she also freed Rarith's child workers and gave them a new home. That at least counts for some, I think.
Sure, but did you really have to punish them so harshly? Being sent to Tartarus for life, for something you didn't even do. I don't think there's anything worse that can happen to a pony.
Yes, it may have been a little cruel, but some pony had to take the fall for the greater good. Now every pony who remains got something out of this. Twilight got her fame for allegedly being a good pony. I got my businesses back. Every pony wins.
Especially I, because of the way law works, which meant that all assets the Flim Flams possessed have now become state property. Don't worry, Pinky, I will be giving those back to their rightful owners, but I do expect some compensation for this generosity. I did save their livelihoods, after all.
Would have been too good to be true if you didn't continue your downward spiral into horribleness. And what kind of scheme did you come up with for them poor folks?
Nothing too bad, AJ. I'm just gonna use the modern video game approach, which means they get to license their businesses from me. They can do everything they could beforehand, make money, change prices, they have full control. With the one exception that I am the supreme CEO who has the very last word about executive decisions. I don't think I'm gonna do much with it, but just giving away something that's mine for free feels like a loss if you catch my drift.
I certainly do, darling, and I must say I'm impressed. We're gonna make a proper capitalist out of you yet.
Well, maybe not that, but I am a pretty good monarch, I would say. I must admit, though, if this is what you've been doing all this time, I can't see why you enjoy it so much.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
But anyway, in light of that, I've also got a few other ideas in store. You do know Maritime Bay?
You mean the place Rarity described in intricate detail just last episode? No. So what about that?
Well, there's at least one good thing the Flim Flams actually accomplished by making that place what it is now. Because of its great success and high demand, many ponies grew tired of having to travel there from all around the country and enduring the endless waiting times. Which is why they started expanding that place with houses to live in. It's gotten so big by now that Luna and I even agreed it was valid to officially name it a real city of Equestria.
Oh, well, good for them, I guess.
But it gets better. With the brothers gone, their emporium in Maritime Bay belongs to me now.
Ah, and you're planning to make a ton of money with their success.
No, even better.
Better than making money?
Bear with me on this. During the official recognition ceremony, I met an ambitious elf pony named Flora Cloverleaf. She had a vision to repurpose the giant mall building into a massive research facility/factory for cool and unique stuff. She didn't specify what exactly those were gonna be, but I'm certain it'll only help bring the three races closer together.
So in other words, you're gonna take the very reason all them ponies moved there and ruin it for them, just to make it into something no pony asked for except for one man who's probably also part of the upper class? You really are a full-fledged government pony. I'd be impressed if I wasn't so disgusted.
Thanks, AJ. Do what I can. Anyway, I like that idea, so I turned that Emporium's ownership over to Flora, but of course I made sure that I remained the proprietor of it.
Sure. So, which self-absorbed name did you decide to give that place? Sparkle Co. Industries?
Don't be like that. It doesn't always have to be about me. I chose a more traditional name, Canologic. So the ponies of Maritime Bay never forget whom they have to thank for those technological wonders. The Princess of Canterlot, and by extension and primarily, me.
Nice. I'm glad everything's gonna be totally alright with that factory. And you, Rarity? How are you holding up with your own business? The one in Nigeria, I mean, now that you had to let your workers go.
Oh, well, now that you've asked me so directly, I'm afraid I'm going to have to be honest with you girls. I would hate having to lie to you. Because, and I am partly ashamed of this, those fools you saved from the Flim Flams and put into your orphanage, Twilight, those weren't the real ones.
What? What's that supposed to mean?
Well, I would have gone through with the whole plan, you have to believe me. But alas, if I wasn't such a tactical genius. Because unfortunately, I did come up with a way for us both to get what we want, and I couldn't not make use of it once I had it, I'm sure you understand. I really did ship my workers over to Equestria, but instead of relocating them to the Flim Flam businesses, first we made a little detour to the Everfree Forests. More precisely, the Cave of the Mirror Pool.
So what you're saying is those fools I saved aren't actually real slaves? They're just clones?
Are you fucking serious with this? Fuck me, and here I thought that for once in this fucking series something was gonna have a good ending to it. Such a deceitful and underhanded thing to do. I don't believe it.
Oh, relax, Applejack. There is no harm done.
Except the one of them fools who gotta keep being your workers in your minds.
Oh, those. They're used to it. But just think about it, Twilight. You got your heroic fame and the Flim Flam brothers are done for. Who would want to bother themselves with menial aftermath at this point? Nice. So actually nothing's changed at all for you. Indeed. After every fool was cloned, I had them shipped back to Nigeria the same day. Time is money after all. Besides, I didn't want them to spend their entire vacation just for this trip. Vacation? Yes, my workers do get vacation, believe it or not. I'm not a complete monster after all. If they're not getting sick days, then at least some vacation to spend on that.
Well, it's very nice of you that your workers got to spend their vacation on a trip to another country that you forced them on.
Now, that is just part of the duties in my business. I don't have nothing to gift. My workers know the penalty for unexcused absence from their workplace, so they were very glad to sacrifice their holidays for my little mission. Does that not make sense? Not really. In general, that whole thing about vacation, I find that hard to believe. That's so not like you to give your slaves vacation. Well, admittedly, it's more of a 2 steps forward, 1 step backward kind of thing. Quid pro quo, you know?
Sure.
It's so relaxing to go on a little evening stroll in a dark alleyway without expecting anything bad to happen. Ever since Lotiric got put in Tartarus for good, there's been no pony left who could ambush me and steal my magic. Oh, very sorry. You, came out of nowhere. Okay. This, feels a little familiar. Are you friend or are you foe? Oh no, not again.